Stop right here and listen. This moment is not entertainment. This is the turning point of your life. So put your phone down. Stop scrolling endlessly, wasting seconds you will never get back. Sit still, lean in, give me your full attention, because what I'm about to reveal could decide how you enter 2026. Most people will hear these words and let them slip away like water through their fingers. Don't be one of them. If you listen with your whole mind, if you engage with every word, I promise you this September reset can reprogram your destiny. My friend, let me remind you of a truth so simple and yet so profound that it has determined the destiny of every man and woman who has ever achieved greatness, the power of decision. The world does not bend for the one who drifts, who drags his feet, who waits for life to give him permission. The world bends for the one who decides with definiteness of purpose that his life will no longer remain ordinary. Now you may wonder, why September? Why speak of a reset now? People often wait until January, turning the page of the calendar to declare resolutions that fade before the snow melts. But September, my friend, is a secret gift. It is a time when the year is still alive, when months remain to write a new story before the next chapter of history begins. It is the season of renewal, of sharpened pencils, of children returning to their studies, of workers returning with vigor after the long summer. September is nature's whisper that says you can begin again before the year is gone. If you seize September with clarity, faith, and persistence, you will not stumble into 2026 as a wanderer. You will march into it as a commander of destiny. But let me be clear, this is not about empty wishes. Wishes are the toys of idle dreamers. What I am teaching you is the science of desire, the art of definiteness of purpose, the discipline of faith, and the courage of persistence. With these weapons, you can conquer the months ahead. Every human achievement, every fortune built, every empire established began not with money, not with power, but with an idea, and more than that, with a burning desire behind that idea. If you wish to reprogram your mind this September, you must begin by choosing a definite desire so strong that it consumes you. What is it that you want before 2026 arrives? Speak it now with honesty. Is it financial freedom? Is it mastery of a skill? Is it reconciliation with loved ones? Do not mumble vague wishes. Say it with force. Say it with clarity. A man who whispers his dreams cannot expect the universe to shout back success. Imagine your life as a great locomotive standing still upon the tracks. The fuel of that engine is desire. Without it, the train will rust where it stands. With it, even mountains will yield, tunnels will be carved, rivers will be bridged. September is your moment to shovel coal into that furnace until the heat shakes your very bones. But desire alone is not enough. Desire must be crystallized into definiteness of purpose. The man who says, I want to be wealthy, is like a sailor who cries, I want to go somewhere. He wanders without direction. But the man who says, by September 30th, I will have written my plan to create a business that produces $10,000 a month by the next year, that man has set his compass. The winds may resist him, but he knows his port, and so he will endure. Have you written your purpose? Do not merely keep it in your mind. The mind is a leaky vessel. Thoughts escape like vapor. Write it, read it, repeat it until it burns in your subconscious like a brand. This is the first command in reprogramming your mind for success before 2026, definiteness of purpose. Now let us speak of faith. Faith is the eternal elixir that gives life, power, and action to desire. Without faith, desire is a spark that dies in the wind. With faith, desire becomes an inferno that no storm can extinguish. Faith is not blind belief. It is mental chemistry. It is the act of repeating to yourself day after day that what you seek is already in your possession. It is the practice of seeing the unseen, feeling the unfelt, believing the impossible until it bends to your will. When I walked among the titans of industry, when I interviewed the likes of Carnegie, Edison, Ford, I discovered that each man practiced faith as surely as he practiced breathing. They visualized their success until the world had no choice but to conform. This September, I command you to practice the same. Close your eyes daily and see yourself in possession of the wealth, the health, the power you desire. Speak it aloud as if it were already yours. This is not fantasy, it is programming. You are impressing upon your subconscious a blueprint, and the subconscious, once convinced, will move mountains to fulfill it. Do you see now why September is powerful? Because if you plant the seed of faith now, you give it months to grow before the new year dawns. While others stumble into January with fragile resolutions, you will enter it with a tree already bearing fruit. But let us not deceive ourselves. There will be obstacles, there will be fear, and fear, if allowed, is the great assassin of dreams. Fear whispers that you are too late, too old, too weak, too poor. Fear tells you that success is for others, not for you. But hear me now, fear is nothing but the misuse of imagination. Just as you can imagine failure, so too can you imagine victory. Why not choose the image that serves you? When fear attacks, answer it with action. Do not wait for confidence to arrive like a guest at your door. Invite confidence by stepping forward while afraid. The man who waits to feel ready never leaves his home. The man who acts despite trembling hands grows strong with every stride. This September, promise yourself one brave action each day toward your purpose. Each step will silence fear until it is nothing but a shadow behind you. And what of failure? Shall we pretend it does not exist? No. Failure is real, but failure is never final. Every great man has met failure as a companion, not an enemy. Edison failed 10,000 times before the bulb. Lincoln lost elections before he won the presidency. Ford's first business collapsed before he built his empire. If you fail this September, rejoice. It means you are moving, you are learning, you are closer than the idle man who never tried. Failure is the tuition you pay for success. Pay it gladly. Your environment, too, will shape your destiny. Your mind, like fertile soil, will grow whatever seeds are planted in it. If you surround yourself with gossip, negativity, and mediocrity, your harvest will be weeds. If you surround yourself with ambition, optimism, and mastery, your harvest will be riches. This is why the mastermind principle is eternal. A single brain is powerful, but a group of like-minded brains united in harmony multiplies power as surely as two batteries linked together double voltage. Ask yourself, who is in your circle this September? Do they lift you or drain you? Do they believe in your vision or mock it? If you find yourself in the wrong company, you must be ruthless. Better to walk alone in the right direction than to march in crowds toward mediocrity. Build your mastermind. Find 2, 3, or 4 souls who share your hunger and meet regularly to encourage, to challenge, to sharpen each other like iron against iron. This practice alone will multiply your progress before 2026. My friend, hear me well. The September reset is not about changing everything overnight. It is not about perfection. It is about direction. If you take a compass and shift it by even 1 degree, over time it will lead you to an entirely different continent. So it is with your mind. A small adjustment now, a clear purpose, a daily affirmation, a circle of faith-filled companions will alter the whole trajectory of your life. September is your second new year. Do not waste it. Now that you understand the urgency of September, let us move into the practices that will lock your mind onto the path of victory. The first daily practice is the act of commanding your thoughts before the world commands them for you. Each morning, before you touch your phone, before you glance at the news, you must speak directly to your subconscious mind. Stand tall, breathe deeply, and declare your purpose out loud, as if you were addressing a stadium filled with men and women waiting to be led. Say it with certainty, repeat it with conviction, until your words feel carved into the very structure of your brain. If you skip this, the world will plant weeds of distraction into your mental garden before you even leave your home. The second daily practice is visualization, the theater of the mind. Every day in September, take at least 5 minutes to close your eyes and build with imagination the life you demand to see in 2026. Picture it in color, in sound, in feeling. If your desire is wealth, do not merely imagine numbers on a screen. Imagine the handshake of a client, the sound of your bank alert, the feeling of your children secure in the home you provide. If your desire is health, imagine the energy coursing through your body, the strength in your steps, the smile of those who admire your transformation. This is not childish fantasy. This is mental rehearsal, and every great achiever in history has used it to condition their mind for reality. The third practice is writing, daily journaling of victories, struggles, and adjustments. A general who marches into battle without a map is a fool, and a man who lives without tracking his days is no wiser. Write your progress each evening, for what is not measured cannot be mastered. The fourth practice is deliberate focus, protecting your hours as you would protect gold in a vault. Too many squander time in endless scrolling, shallow entertainment, and gossip that adds nothing to their destiny. This September, declare certain hours sacred. Use them to study, to build, to work, to create, and defend them fiercely from every intruder. Finally, the fifth practice is persistence, the daily refusal to quit when distractions, fears, and failures arise. Make a pact with yourself now. Every single day between now and the end of December, I will take at least one action that moves me closer to my vision. Even on bad days, even on sick days, even on days when doubt screams loudest, take one step, because 1,000 small steps taken without fail will carry you farther than one giant leap attempted and abandoned. These 5 practices, commanding your thoughts, visualizing your future, writing your progress, protecting your time, and persisting without excuse, are the September Reset Blueprint. They are not suggestions, they are laws, and the man who obeys them will transform his life before 2026 arrives. This is how you reprogram your mind, not by waiting for inspiration, but by ritual, repetition, and relentless consistency. If the September reset is to take hold, you must not only plant new seeds, you must also tear out the weeds that strangle your progress. Habits are the invisible architecture of your destiny, and bad habits are termites in the beams of your future. Each day, identify one habit that no longer serves you and strike it down without mercy. Do not negotiate with it. Do not postpone its removal. Do not lie to yourself that you will quit tomorrow. If endless scrolling steals your hours, delete the app. If late nights steal your energy, shut down the lights earlier. If negative company poisons your spirit, walk away and choose solitude over corruption. I know these changes feel difficult, but difficulty is the cost of greatness. You must remember this. Nature hates a vacuum. When you rip out a bad habit, replace it immediately with a good one, or the old will creep back to reclaim its throne. Replace scrolling with reading, replace gossip with study, replace doubt with affirmations, replace laziness with exercise. Discipline is not punishment, it is liberation. The undisciplined man is a slave to every impulse, but the disciplined man is a master of his fate. Think of your brain as a muscle. Each act of discipline strengthens it. Each indulgence weakens it. And in September, every small act of control compounds into unstoppable momentum before the new year dawns. Let me tell you a story. I once studied a man who could not control his mornings. He would wake late, rush, forget, and always complain that time was his enemy. When I forced him to rise 1 hour earlier to write his goals, to walk briskly in the morning air, his life changed within 90 days. Promotions came, money flowed, and opportunities appeared, not because the world suddenly shifted, but because he had reprogrammed his daily rhythm. The September reset demands this: control your mornings, and you will command your destiny. Begin each day with purpose, not passivity. Refuse to let the world set your tone through alarms, notifications, and noise. Instead, set your tone with vision, with writing, with silence, with study. Your morning is your throne room, and how you rule it will decide how the kingdom of your day is governed. And do not forget the evenings. How you close the day is as important as how you open it. Spend a few minutes reviewing victories, adjusting tomorrow's plan, and giving thanks. Gratitude expressed sincerely multiplies abundance in ways no calculation can explain. End your days with gratitude, begin them with purpose, and the cycle will create discipline unshakable as steel. Distraction is the silent thief that robs men of their empires before they even realize it. In this September reset, you must declare war against every distraction that pulls you away from your definite purpose. Ask yourself honestly, how many hours have you lost to meaningless scrolling, to idle conversations, to shallow entertainments that leave you emptier than before? These are not harmless. They are poison disguised as comfort. Each time you surrender to distraction, you trade gold for dust, destiny for delusion. The disciplined man understands that focus is his currency, and he spends it only on what compounds his future. To master focus, you must first master your environment. Remove the temptations within arm's reach. If your phone seduces you, put it in another room. If your desk is cluttered, clear it until only tools of creation remain. Build a space that whispers work, whispers creation, whispers progress. Next, command your time with structure. Set aside sacred blocks of hours where no messages, no calls, no diversions are allowed. Treat these blocks as holy ground, for within them lies the power to move mountains. During these hours, pour your full mind into one task and do not release it until it bends to your will. Single-tasking is the weapon of kings, while multitasking is the drug of the mediocre. When you focus on one thing with absolute intensity, the world bends to deliver results faster than you imagine. But focus alone is not enough. You must compound it with momentum. Momentum is the invisible force that multiplies your energy once you begin to move. Have you noticed how the hardest part of any task is the beginning? Once you start, resistance weakens, and progress builds upon itself like a snowball rolling downhill. This is why I urge you, never end a day without planting momentum for tomorrow. Leave a task half finished on purpose, so when you return, you fall immediately back into motion. Write tomorrow's plan the night before, so your morning greets you with clarity instead of confusion. Protect momentum as you would protect fire in the wind. It is fragile at first, but once roaring, it cannot be stopped. Imagine yourself entering 2026 with unstoppable momentum, carried by months of disciplined focus and compounding victories. That power begins not in January, but in September, with the simple choice to guard your focus and ignite momentum daily. The man who learns this principle is not a slave to time. He is a master of it. And when you master time, you master life. Fear is the greatest enemy of progress, and it has destroyed more dreams than poverty, sickness, or war. It creeps into the mind at night, whispering that you are not ready, that you are not worthy, that you will never succeed. But fear is a lie. It is nothing more than imagination used against yourself. If you can imagine failure vividly, then you can also imagine success with equal force. And the man who chooses to imagine success will eventually bend reality to match his vision. Courage does not mean the absence of fear, it means mastery over fear. The brave man is not the one who feels nothing, but the one who acts while trembling. Each time you face fear and step forward anyway, you weaken its hold and strengthen your will. Remember this, every step into fear is a step into growth. The moment you refuse to let fear dictate your choices, you begin to live like a master instead of a prisoner. But what of failure? Should we dread it? Should we run from it? No, failure is not the end. It is the beginning of wisdom. Edison failed 10,000 times before the light bulb burned bright, yet history remembers him not for the failures, but for the triumph. Lincoln lost election after election, yet he rose to lead a nation at its darkest hour. Ford's first companies collapsed, yet persistence turned him into a giant of industry. Do you see? Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the raw material from which success is built. When you stumble, write the lesson, adjust your course, and step again. Each failure properly analyzed becomes tuition paid to the University of Achievement. Pay it gladly, for the man who refuses to fail refuses also to grow. This September, I command you to change your relationship with failure. Do not hide it. Do not deny it. Do not let it shame you. Wear your failures as badges of courage, for they prove you dared while others only dreamed. And let me tell you this, failure plus persistence equals power. Persistence is the golden key that turns every defeat into a stepping stone. When fear rises and failure strikes, persistence whispers, try again, adjust again, move again. It is persistence that separates the man who almost succeeded from the man who becomes a legend. And when persistence is joined with faith and definiteness of purpose, no obstacle can withstand the force of your will. Remember this as you reset your life in September. Fear is an illusion. Failure is a teacher. Persistence is the bridge to destiny. Master these three and you will walk into 2026 unstoppable. Faith is the eternal power that transforms thought into reality, and without it no man can rise above mediocrity. Faith is not a vague hope. It is a state of mind you create through repetition, affirmation, and visualization. The subconscious mind is your servant, and it accepts whatever you impress upon it, whether faith or fear, belief or doubt. If you feed it with conviction, it will deliver to you the riches of life as faithfully as the soil delivers harvest to the farmer. But if you feed it confusion, contradiction, and weakness, it will produce weeds instead of wheat. This is why daily affirmations are not superstition, they are science. Each morning declare, I am capable, I am deserving, I am relentless, I am achieving my purpose. Speak it not once, but over and over, until your subconscious accepts it as fact. When the subconscious believes, the conscious mind acts with certainty, and the body follows with power. Doubt may knock at your door, but faith will answer before doubt can enter. Consider the men I studied, Carnegie, Edison, Rockefeller, Ford. They built empires not because they were spared difficulties, but because their faith refused to bend. They saw in their minds the industries, inventions, and fortunes long before the world saw them. Faith gave them patience when progress was slow, courage when critics mocked, and persistence when failure struck. And faith will do the same for you if you cultivate it daily. How do you build faith? By marrying desire to belief and belief to action. Desire without belief is a dream. Belief without action is fantasy. But when all three unite, miracles occur. Visualize your goal until it feels real. Affirm it until it sounds true. Act on it until it becomes fact. This is the triangle of faith, and it cannot be broken. Guard your mind from doubt as you would guard your home from fire. Do not allow negative people, toxic news, or your own lazy thoughts to steal your belief. Instead, surround yourself with voices of power, words of encouragement, and stories of triumph. Each night before sleep, replay your vision as if it were already accomplished. The subconscious, unguarded in sleep, will work through the night to connect you with ideas, opportunities, and people that lead you closer to your purpose. This is the hidden secret. Faith programs the subconscious, and the subconscious programs your life. If you feed it faith daily, then by December you will not recognize yourself. You will be stronger, richer, and clearer than the man you were in August. This September reset is not just about actions, it is about mental chemistry. Reprogram your subconscious with faith, and the outer world will mirror the inner image you hold. This is the law, and no man escapes it. No man ever succeeds entirely alone, for environment shapes destiny as surely as soil shapes the seed. If you place a seed in rich earth, it flourishes. If you place it in barren ground, it withers. The same law applies to your mind and your future. You may carry burning desire and strong faith, but if you surround yourself with doubters and destroyers, your flame will be smothered. This is why I urge you to examine your circle with ruthless honesty this September. Who drains your energy? Who mocks your vision? Who poisons your spirit with negativity? Remove them, for they are termites in the beams of your house of success. Better to walk alone with determination than to march in crowds toward mediocrity. But do not walk alone forever. For power multiplies when two or more minds harmonize in pursuit of a definite goal. This is the mastermind principle, the secret weapon of every titan I ever studied. Carnegie built steel empires by surrounding himself with men who filled his weaknesses with their strengths. Edison gathered brilliant minds to test, to fail, to persist until invention was born. Ford united dreamers and doers, visionaries and builders, until the impossible became the automobile industry. The mastermind is not just partnership, it is a mental chemistry, a fusion of minds that produces ideas greater than the sum of the individuals. When you sit with men and women who share your hunger, new solutions appear, courage multiplies, and persistence becomes natural. Ask yourself, who belongs in your mastermind? Seek those who dream as boldly as you, who work as relentlessly as you, who believe as fiercely as you. Even two souls united with harmony and clarity can alter the fate of nations. If you cannot find such allies nearby, then seek them in books, in lectures, in mentors from afar. For every great mind recorded in history still speaks through their words, and they can become silent members of your mastermind. Imagine holding council each week with Napoleon, Lincoln, Carnegie, Edison, and Ford. Through their writings you can do so, and through faith your subconscious will treat them as real advisors. But beware, harmony is the key. If even one member of a mastermind brings envy, doubt, or conflict, the chemistry is broken. Choose carefully, guard unity fiercely, and nourish your group with shared victories. A true mastermind becomes an unstoppable engine, pulling each member toward goals far beyond what they could reach alone. This September reset demands that you elevate your environment and build your mastermind. When you walk into 2026, do not walk as one man, but as the sum of every great mind you have united with your own. For destiny does not reward the solitary dreamer as richly as it rewards the united builders of the future. Time is the currency of life, and every man is given the same 24 hours each day. The difference between the rich and the poor, the leader and the follower, the fulfilled and the frustrated, is not more hours, it is wiser use of them. If you wish for this September reset to transform your future, you must become ruthless with your time. Stop giving golden hours to trivial distractions, shallow entertainment, and empty conversations. Begin treating every hour as if it were an investment that must yield a return. Ask yourself at the end of each day, did my time today move me closer to my definite purpose, or did I waste it? The man who answers honestly will soon sharpen his focus, cut away the nonsense, and double his progress. Discipline begins with routines, for routines eliminate hesitation and replace it with momentum. A powerful morning routine sets the tone for the day, while a deliberate evening routine locks in victory for tomorrow. In the morning, command your mind with affirmations, visualize your goals, move your body, and begin your work before the world distracts you. In the evening, review the day, write lessons learned, adjust tomorrow's plan, and give gratitude for every opportunity received. These bookends of the day become the rails upon which your success train runs smoothly. Without them you drift, with them you dominate. Guard your calendar as a banker guards his vault. Block hours for creation, for learning, for health, for relationships, and defend them as sacred appointments. If you do not schedule your priorities, distractions will schedule themselves, and the world is full of thieves waiting to steal your hours if you let them. Learn to say no, not with guilt, but with pride, for every no to nonsense is a yes to destiny. Remember this, a man who values his time forces the world to value him as well. Never confuse busyness with productivity. The man who does less but does it with focus will outpace the man who drowns in endless shallow tasks. Concentrate on high-value actions, the ones that move the needle of your purpose, the ones that compound results over years. If you discipline your time in September, you will enter 2026 with systems that multiply your energy instead of draining it. Routines create freedom, schedules create strength, and guarded time creates greatness. This is the discipline of time, and without it, no desire, no faith, no vision can be sustained. Master it now, and you will discover that 24 hours is more than enough to build a life of power, wealth, and fulfillment. Wealth is not created in the hands first. It is created in the mind. Before gold fills your pockets, prosperity must first fill your thoughts. This is the principle of wealth consciousness, to think in terms of abundance, opportunity, and creation rather than scarcity, fear, and lack. The poor man waits for luck, complains about unfairness, and curses those who succeed. The wealthy man sees opportunity in every difficulty and solutions in every obstacle. This September reset must awaken within you the consciousness of prosperity. Ask yourself daily, am I thinking like a creator or like a beggar? If your mind dwells on lack, you will see lack. If your mind dwells on wealth, opportunities will appear where none seem to exist. Opportunity is always present, but it only reveals itself to the prepared and expectant mind. A man filled with wealth consciousness walks into a room and sees connections, sees value, sees possibility. A man trapped in poverty thinking walks into the same room and sees nothing but reasons why he cannot win. This is why you must reprogram your subconscious daily with images of wealth, with words of prosperity, with the belief that riches belong to you. Not because life owes you anything, but because you have chosen to pay the price through work, service, and persistence. Remember this, money is a servant, never a master. Use it to build, to serve, to expand, and it will multiply willingly. Worship it, fear it, or chase it desperately, and it will mock you by slipping away. Develop multiple streams of income. Never depend on one source alone, for the man who drinks from a single well will thirst when it runs dry. In September, begin designing ways to serve more people, for wealth flows in proportion to the value you deliver. Create, innovate, solve problems, and riches will chase you. Surround yourself with financial wisdom. Study those who built empires and apply their principles with discipline. Save a portion of every dollar, invest it wisely, and watch compounding turn small seeds into forests of prosperity. Reject the poison of instant gratification, for it has destroyed more fortunes than poverty ever did. Choose long-term building over short-term pleasure, and time itself will become your ally. By December, if you think with wealth consciousness, you will attract ideas, partnerships, and resources that prepare you for a prosperous 2026. Do not say, I cannot afford it. Say instead, how can I afford it? The shift in language from defeat to possibility opens doors you did not see before. This is how the wealthy think, and it is how you must think from this September forward. Wealth is not a dream reserved for the few. It is a system available to the disciplined, the persistent, and the prepared. Reprogram your mind with prosperity, and you will magnetize riches long before the new year arrives. No empire can be built on a weak body, for health is the foundation upon which all success rests. The man who neglects his energy, his strength, his vitality, will one day trade all his riches to regain what he abandoned. In this September reset, you must decide not only to reprogram your mind, but to rebuild your body as the instrument of achievement. Treat your body as a sacred machine, for it is the only vehicle that can carry you to destiny. Begin with rest, for sleep is not laziness, it is renewal. The disciplined man guards his nights as fiercely as his days, knowing that a rested mind solves problems faster and a rested body works longer. Next, command your diet, for food is not mere pleasure, it is fuel. The man who feeds himself with junk, with sugar, with poison, cannot expect clarity of mind or strength of will. Nourish yourself with clean foods, with water, with discipline, and you will feel energy surge through you like fire. Energy is the currency of greatness, and the wealthy man is the one who knows how to generate it daily. Exercise, too, is non-negotiable. The body that is moved grows strong. The body that is idle grows weak. Just 30 minutes a day of deliberate movement sharpens the mind, strengthens the heart, and fills you with endurance to chase your vision. Health is not a side goal. It is the multiplier of every other achievement. With health, you can work longer, think clearer, love stronger, and serve wider. Without it, even the brightest dream dims into exhaustion. Remember also the mind-body connection, for your emotions are tied to your physical state. When you breathe deeply, when you walk briskly, when you train your muscles, your spirit rises and fear shrinks. A man with health radiates confidence, and confidence attracts opportunity like a magnet. Do not make the mistake of saying, "I will care for my health after I succeed." Success without health is failure disguised. For what good is wealth you are too weak to enjoy? This September reset demands balance. Sharpen your mind, strengthen your body, align your spirit. Begin with small changes. Sleep 1 hour earlier, drink water instead of poison, walk instead of scrolling. These small shifts, repeated daily, will compound into unstoppable vitality before 2026 arrives. Your body is your temple, your engine, your fortress. Guard it, train it, and it will carry you with pride into the future. Let this be your vow. I will not sabotage my destiny with neglect of my health. Instead, I will rise daily with energy, with strength, with clarity, and with power. For only the strong in body can fully unleash the strength of the mind. The greatest victories are not won in the marketplace or the battlefield. They are won within the chambers of the human heart. A man who cannot govern his emotions will be ruled by them, and a man ruled by emotions is a slave no matter his wealth or position. This September reset demands that you become the master of your inner state, for when you rule your moods, you rule your destiny. Wel dit you geest wil de action hurrit je pot is actual rabar anders en not per immersion with you geest to party. For man who cannot fridge heim and hard to let a bad in the both a part of the two geest for be one to raid, the human had a both a part of the two that you part of a palto torch into those. It's the cheese man is his me on for sale upper minch toes. They manually two stop you mercy to that tau bit you they away are. The masmy cheese mare up to zeal further cheese bell that sold. For war they kid it you per son to you did know the pain, that are not mere attitude sore, health away am, blood subi was and tonight. Anger, fear, envy, doubt, these are storms that destroy the crops of achievement if left unchecked. But discipline, gratitude, patience, and courage, these are the sons that ripen the harvest of success. Do not deny your emotions, for denial gives them secret strength. Instead, observe them, name them, and direct them toward constructive action. When anger rises, channel it into fuel for persistence. When sadness grips you, let it remind you of your capacity for empathy and connection. When fear whispers, let it sharpen your focus and prepare you to act with precision. The man who feels but does not collapse is the man who grows unbreakable. Pain, too, is not your enemy. It is your teacher. Life will strike, dreams will delay, loved ones will disappoint, and losses will cut deeply. But within every wound lies the seed of wisdom, and within every hardship lies the chance for rebirth. The strongest men I studied were not those spared from suffering, but those who converted suffering into service. Lincoln led a nation because he knew the weight of loss. Edison persisted because he knew the sting of failure. Ford innovated because he knew the frustration of collapse. They did not curse their pain, they consecrated it into progress. You must do the same in September, transform every painful memory into motivation, every setback into strength. Remember this, your emotions are servants, not masters. They exist to inform you, not to imprison you. A man who governs his emotions gains the respect of others, for calmness in crisis is the mark of true leadership. Practice daily the art of emotional mastery. Begin with awareness. Pause when you feel stirred, breathe before you react, and ask yourself, will this serve my definite purpose? If the answer is no, release it. If the answer is yes, direct it into action. Day by day you will discover that you are no longer tossed like a leaf in the wind, but rooted like an oak in the storm. And by 2026, men will look at you and say, here is a man unshaken. Here is a man who commands himself and therefore commands his future. Vision is the architect of destiny, and without it a man stumbles in the dark no matter how fast he runs. Imagination is not child's play, it is the workshop of the mind, where all plans, inventions, and empires are first designed. Every bridge, every machine, every fortune began first as an idea held stubbornly in the theater of imagination. The September reset calls you to awaken your vision and expand your imagination until it becomes irresistible reality. Ask yourself, what picture of your life do you hold for 2026? Do you see yourself trapped in the same cycles, or do you see yourself rising with confidence, wealth, health, and freedom? Whatever picture you hold most often in your mind is the one your subconscious will accept and your actions will pursue. The danger lies in allowing your imagination to be hijacked by fear, doubt, and limitation. If you continually picture failure, your subconscious will prepare you for defeat. But if you continually picture success, your subconscious will mobilize every faculty, every opportunity to manifest it. Use your imagination deliberately each day. Close your eyes and design the home you want, the work you will do, the impact you will make. Feel it, taste it, walk in it as though it already exists, for the mind does not distinguish between real and vividly imagined. Imagination, when mixed with faith and backed by persistence, is the blueprint of miracles. This is how every innovator, every leader, every giant of industry built the world we live in today. Do not shrink your vision to fit your current resources. Expand your resources to fit the size of your vision. If your dream does not scare you, it is too small, but vision without action is daydreaming. You must write your vision, refine it, and break it into steps that can be taken daily. Even the tallest tower is built brick by brick, and even the greatest dream is built step by step. Guard your vision as a king guards his crown. Do not share it with mockers who cannot see beyond their own limitations. Share it only with those who strengthen it, who believe in it, who will hold you accountable to achieve it. Remember this law: the man without vision perishes, but the man with vision persists through any storm. By this September reset, choose to build the picture of the life you demand. And when you hold it so vividly, so consistently, the world will eventually bow and deliver it into your hands. Gratitude is the magnet of abundance, and without it even the wealthiest man feels poor. When you train your mind to see blessings in every circumstance, you unlock a power that multiplies opportunities. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to what is possible, from scarcity to abundance, from complaint to creation. This September reset must root you in daily gratitude. Each morning and evening, list 3 things you are thankful for, large or small, visible or unseen. By doing so, you will reprogram your subconscious to expect good, and expectation attracts more good. But gratitude alone is not enough. You must also serve. True success is never measured by what you take, but by how much you give in value to others. The wealthiest men in history built fortunes not by hoarding, but by creating solutions, products, and services that improved lives. Money is nothing more than the reward for rendering useful service to others at scale. Therefore, ask yourself, how can I serve more people more deeply, more effectively this September? The man who solves more problems gains more wealth, more influence, and more fulfillment. Service is not weakness, it is the highest form of strength. When you lift others, you rise with them. When you empower others, you expand your own power. Remember, too, that service creates networks, trust, and reputation. These are currencies more valuable than cash, for they open doors money cannot buy. A man who is known for value will never lack opportunity, for the world seeks and rewards the builder. Let me warn you, selfishness leads only to isolation. The man who hoards, who refuses to give, who thinks only of himself, shrinks until no one remembers his name. But the man who serves boldly writes his name into the future. Gratitude and service together form an unbreakable cycle. Gratitude fills you with joy, service multiplies your wealth, and both feed each other endlessly. By December, if you live in gratitude and service, you will find yourself richer, not only in possessions, but in spirit, in relationships, in purpose. Ask yourself tonight, who can I thank and who can I serve? Write their names, act upon them, and watch as life returns to you multiplied blessings. Gratitude is the seed, service is the soil, and prosperity is the harvest. Without them, no reset can last. With them, no storm can destroy your success. Begin today, give thanks, render service, and step boldly into a life that no force can take from you. Persistence is the iron quality of success, the force that separates the dreamers from the doers, the winners from the defeated. Talent may open the first door, luck may light the path for a moment, but only persistence keeps you moving when every other resource is exhausted. Many men begin with enthusiasm, but enthusiasm fades when obstacles appear. The great ones persist when others surrender. They push when others pause. They climb when others collapse. You must engrave this truth into your heart. Temporary defeat is not failure, it is instruction. Each setback carries a lesson. Each delay conceals a gift. Each obstacle sharpens your character. The man who quits never discovers these treasures, but the man who persists gathers them until his treasure chest overflows. Consider Edison, 10,000 failures, yet the world remembers only the triumph of light. Consider Lincoln, defeat upon defeat, yet history remembers only the leader who preserved a nation. These men were not chosen by fate, they were forged by persistence. Resilience is persistence under fire, the ability to bend without breaking, to absorb blows without losing direction. Life will strike you, people will doubt you, circumstances will test you, but resilience allows you to rise again, to shake off the dust, to move forward stronger than before. Persistence is not stubbornness, it is intelligent adjustment. When a plan fails, persistence does not keep beating against the same wall. It finds another way through, around, or above. Persistence is loyal to the goal but flexible with the method. This September reset requires that you commit to persistence for the rest of the year. Decide now that no failure, no delay, no disappointment will cause you to quit. If the door is closed, knock again. If the door is locked, build another entrance. If no door exists, carve one from stone. Do not confuse slow progress with failure. So long as you are moving, you are winning. Even one small step each day compounds into unstoppable victory by 2026. Write this affirmation and repeat it daily. I will never quit until victory is mine. Persistence is the language of champions, the habit of conquerors, the secret of legends. If you make persistence your companion, then defeat will never be final and success will never escape your grasp. Begin today, persist, adapt, endure, and soon the world will bow to the man it could not break. Self-discipline is the backbone of greatness, the invisible hand that shapes every decision, every action, every result. Without it, desire fizzles, plans crumble, and potential rots unused. With it, even an ordinary man becomes extraordinary, for discipline multiplies talent and amplifies vision. Discipline is the daily agreement between your future self and your present self, the promise that today's sacrifices create tomorrow's freedom. The undisciplined man is a slave to moods, impulses, and distractions. He begins with energy, but the first difficulty breaks him. He promises change, but one temptation defeats him. The disciplined man, however, acts not from mood, but from mission. He rises when he is tired. He works when he is bored. He builds when he feels like quitting. And because he obeys principle instead of impulse, he earns a life others only dream of. Willpower is the spark of discipline, but habits are the engine. You cannot fight every battle of willpower daily, for the flesh is weak and the mind tires. Instead, transform critical actions into automatic habits that no longer require argument with yourself. Wake early, write goals, review progress, eat clean, train your body, and repeat until these acts feel as natural as breathing. The disciplined man understands this law. Chains of habit are too weak to be felt until they are too strong to be broken. Therefore, forge good chains early, and they will carry you when willpower wanes. Discipline is not punishment. It is liberation. The man who disciplines his desires is free, while the man who indulges every desire is chained to weakness. September is your proving ground, the month to build the habits that will escort you triumphantly into 2026. Begin small if you must, one push-up, one page read, one step forward. The size of the act matters less than the consistency of the act, for consistency turns drops of water into rivers, sparks into flames, and men into legends. Record your habits, track them daily, and do not break the chain. Each unbroken streak will strengthen your identity until you no longer try to be disciplined. You simply are disciplined. This is how character is forged, how greatness is built quietly, invisibly, until one day the world marvels at the man who refused to break his promises to himself. Remember this, your habits will either drag you into mediocrity or lift you into mastery. Choose wisely, for habits are destiny dressed in daily clothing. Build them now and they will carry you like a mighty current into the victorious shores of 2026. Leadership is not a title, it is a responsibility, and true leaders are not appointed. They are recognized by the influence they exert. A leader is one who knows where he is going, inspires others to follow, and refuses to quit until the destination is reached. The September reset is not only about personal victory, it is about becoming a light for others in darkness. For what good is your success if it does not inspire others to rise with you? Influence begins with integrity. The man whose words and actions align commands respect, while the man who preaches one thing and practices another loses all trust. Guard your word as you would guard treasure. When you say you will act, act. When you make a promise, keep it. A leader's strength is built not on speeches, but on consistency. Others follow not because they are told, but because they are moved. Next comes vision. People do not follow a man, they follow the picture he paints of a better future. If you hold a strong vision and communicate it with fire, men will align their energy with yours. They will borrow courage from your conviction and persistence from your determination. Leadership also requires service. The greatest leaders I studied were not tyrants demanding from others, but servants lifting others higher. Carnegie empowered his men, Edison uplifted his team, Lincoln bore the burdens of millions with humility. A leader leads not from above, but from within the struggle, shoulder to shoulder with his followers. Influence grows also from courage. When storms rise, people look for the man who remains calm, steady, unshaken. If you can remain composed in chaos, others will cling to you as their anchor. But let me warn you, leadership demands sacrifice. You will be misunderstood, criticized, even betrayed, for not all will see the vision you carry. Endure this with patience, for the leader who persists will outlast the doubters. By December, if you live with integrity, vision, service, and courage, you will not only transform your own life, but become the example that others long to follow. Remember this, the true measure of leadership is not how high you climb, but how many you lift with you. Begin practicing leadership today, at work, at home, in your circle. Guide, inspire, and serve. And when 2026 dawns, men will say, "Here stands a leader, not by position, but by power of character." Doubt is a shadow that follows every dreamer, whispering that he is unworthy, unprepared, or incapable. It is natural to feel doubt, but it is fatal to obey it. The September reset requires that you master doubt before it masters you. Critics will laugh, they will mock, they will call you foolish for daring to reach higher than they dare to imagine. Let them laugh, for their mockery is proof that you are moving where they have never walked. Remember this, no statue has ever been built for a critic, only for the one who dared to act. When doubt rises within, answer it with evidence of your past victories, no matter how small. Remind yourself of every obstacle you overcame, every step you persisted through, every challenge you turned into triumph. These memories are weapons, proof that you are stronger than your fears. When critics rise without, silence them not with argument, but with achievement. Results are the sharpest reply to ridicule. Every man who built greatness was once mocked as foolish until the world could no longer deny his success. Guard your inner circle carefully, for doubt spreads quickly when fueled by negative voices. Surround yourself with believers, with encouragers, with builders who strengthen rather than weaken your resolve. When faith and courage echo around you, doubt loses its power. And remember this, doubt often disguises itself as caution, as practicality, as reason. Many will advise you to shrink your vision, to wait for the perfect time, to be realistic. Do not confuse their fear with wisdom. The world is changed not by the cautious, but by the bold, not by the hesitant, but by the daring. Walk boldly in your purpose, even if the path is lonely at first. Speak your vision with certainty, act upon it with persistence, and let the critics fade into irrelevance. By December, the very voices that mocked you will wonder how you advanced so far while they remained stuck. Doubt is a choice, and so is faith. Choose faith daily, reject doubt hourly, and soon your subconscious will no longer question your worth. This is the secret. Confidence is built not by erasing doubt, but by acting despite it until victory silences every critic. The September reset demands that you no longer tiptoe in hesitation. Step boldly, speak boldly, live boldly, for boldness attracts opportunities that fear never sees. And when 2026 arrives, you will not only silence your critics, you will inspire them. Indecision is the graveyard of opportunity, and countless men have buried their dreams by refusing to choose. Success favors the decisive, for action creates momentum and hesitation destroys it. The September reset demands that you cultivate the habit of quick, firm, and clear decisions. The man who waits endlessly for certainty, who dithers between options, who postpones commitment, wastes the very resource he cannot replace, time. Great leaders, builders, and achievers were not men who always knew the perfect choice, but men who acted swiftly and adjusted wisely. It is better to act boldly and correct course than to stand still until the chance has passed forever. Decision begins with clarity of purpose. If you know your definite aim, decisions become simple. Ask only, does this move me closer or further from my goal? With such clarity, half the confusion of life disappears instantly. But if you drift without purpose, even small choices feel heavy, for you have no compass to guide you. Write your purpose, review it daily, and let it serve as the filter for every decision. The man who knows his aim cannot be distracted by 1,000 temptations, for he measures everything against his chosen destiny. Next comes speed of action. Opportunities are living things. They appear, they breathe, they vanish if not seized. How many chances have been lost by men who said, I will think about it tomorrow, decide, act, and learn. This is the rhythm of progress. Even a wrong decision, corrected quickly, advances you farther than endless hesitation. Do not fear mistakes, for mistakes can be fixed. Fear inaction, for inaction can never be redeemed. Train yourself to act in small matters swiftly, and soon you will act in great matters confidently. Courage grows with use, and every decisive step strengthens your character. Remember also that decisions demand sacrifice. To say yes to one path is to say no to another, and weak men refuse to choose because they fear losing options. But indecision loses everything, while firm decision gains at least one victory. This September, decide who you will be, what you will pursue, and how you will act, and let no doubt or delay hold you back. By December, you will look back and realize that a single firm decision in September changed the course of your year. Swift decisions, guided by clear purpose, will propel you into 2026 with unstoppable momentum. Be bold, decide quickly, act firmly, and correct wisely. This is the formula of decisive men. Faith without action is a dream, but faith expressed in consistent action is a force no obstacle can resist. The man who believes and then moves is like a river. He may bend, he may twist, but he will always carve his way to the ocean. Momentum is born when faith and consistency unite. Imagine the power of taking one deliberate step every single day between now and 2026, hundreds of actions compounding into unstoppable progress. Too many fail not because they lacked ability, but because they failed to keep moving after the first burst of enthusiasm faded. Consistency is the bridge between intention and achievement. Ask yourself, what small action can I repeat daily without fail that will carry me toward my vision? One page written, one call made, $1 saved, 1 mile walked, done daily. These small acts build a fortress of success. Do not despise small beginnings, for mighty oaks grow from tiny acorns. The man who waits for giant leaps remains stuck, while the man who takes small steps daily builds momentum until nothing can stop him. Faith fuels consistency. For when you believe in the outcome, repetition becomes joy rather than burden. You no longer ask, will this work? You say, it is working already, and each action proves it. This mindset transforms discipline from drudgery into destiny. By this September reset, you must commit to systems, not moods. Systems carry you when emotions fail. Routines carry you when energy wanes. Habits carry you when distractions tempt. The man with systems and faith can outwork, outlast, and outlive the man with mere passion. Momentum itself is a law. An object in motion stays in motion. Once you begin and refuse to stop, resistance weakens, opportunities appear, and victories multiply. Soon you will look back and marvel that what once felt impossible has become automatic. But beware, momentum can work against you if your actions are destructive. Consistency in vice, in laziness, in doubt, compounds failure as surely as consistency in discipline compounds success. This is why clarity of purpose is essential to ensure your consistency builds the future you desire, not the future you dread. Remember, by December, you will not be the same man you are in September. You will either have compounded weakness or compounded strength, depending on your faith and your actions. Choose strength, choose persistence, choose to act daily, and momentum will carry you into 2026 with power. Faith in action practiced with consistency is the master key to the September reset. It transforms visions into victories and dreams into destiny. Legacy is the shadow of your life that walks long after you are gone, and wise men live not only for the moment but for the mark they leave behind. The September reset is not about 90 days of improvement. It is about setting the course for years, even generations. Ask yourself, when 2026 dawns, will I be the same man repeating old patterns, or will I be the architect of a new destiny? Long-term thinking separates the shallow from the great, the wanderer from the builder. Too many live only for today's pleasure, forgetting that tomorrow will demand payment for every wasted hour. They eat their seed corn, leaving nothing to plant for the future. But the wise man plants daily, waters faithfully, and harvests richly in seasons to come. Legacy begins with vision. What do you want your life to mean? What stories will your children tell of you? What lessons will your community learn from your example? Live each day with the awareness that your choices echo beyond your own lifetime. When you choose discipline over indulgence, faith over fear, service over selfishness, you are writing a story greater than yourself. Long-term thinking demands patience. Do not crave instant results, for true success grows like a tree, slow, steady, unstoppable, once rooted. Every sacrifice today becomes shade for tomorrow. Every seed planted now becomes fruit for the future. Remember, building a legacy is not about grand gestures. It is about small, consistent actions repeated over years. A man becomes wealthy not through one great decision, but through thousands of wise choices compounded over time. A father becomes respected not through one speech, but through years of faithful example. This September reset is your invitation to stop living day to day and start building decade to decade. Think not only of what you want before December, but of what you want by 2030 and beyond. When you stretch your vision to decades, today's struggles feel lighter, for you see them as investments in eternity. Legacy is also service. What you give endures longer than what you keep. Wealth fades, buildings crumble, but lives touched by your courage and generosity carry your name forward. By December, begin to act like a man who lives for more than himself, and watch as opportunities expand to match your larger vision. The world honors men who think beyond their own needs, who build for the many instead of the few. Prepare for 2026 not as another year, but as the foundation of the next chapter of your legacy. Begin now, act daily, and live boldly, so that when your shadow falls upon history, it will inspire generations yet unborn. You have now gathered many principles, each a tool, each a weapon, each a light for your journey. Purpose gave you direction, faith gave you fuel, discipline gave you control, service gave you meaning, and persistence gave you power. Alone, each principle can move you forward, but together they form the unbreakable blueprint of transformation. This September reset is not about fragments, it is about fusion. Imagine a man who knows his definite purpose, who feeds his subconscious with faith daily, who disciplines his hours, who serves others with gratitude, and who never quits no matter the resistance. That man cannot be stopped, for life itself bows to such a force. Purpose without faith becomes fragile. Faith without discipline becomes wasted. Discipline without service becomes cold, and service without persistence fades with time. When all unite, you hold in your hands the master key to 2026 and beyond. The blueprint begins with decision. You must decide firmly what your September reset will stand for. Write it, declare it, and commit to it with no back door of escape. Then add faith, repeat your affirmations, visualize your victory, and believe until doubt dies in your presence. Layer discipline upon faith. Wake early, guard your hours. Build habits that carry you forward even when moods fail. Add service, find someone to help, someone to encourage, someone to lift each day. For success without service is hollow, but service multiplies success beyond measure. And bind it all with persistence. Decide that nothing, no fear, no failure, no critic will turn you back. These principles practiced together become the September Reset Blueprint, a formula of destiny. Can you see it? The man you will become by December if you obey these laws. He is stronger, clearer, wealthier, healthier, more respected, more fulfilled than the man you were in August. Do not treat these words as inspiration alone. Treat them as instruction. Read them daily, act on them hourly, live them until they become your very nature. By 2026, others will marvel at your transformation and wonder how it was done. And you will know it was done by decision, by faith, by discipline, by service, by persistence. This is the master key, the complete system, the unbreakable pattern of greatness. September is not just a month. It is your chance to reset, to rewrite, to reprogram everything. Begin now, act daily, persist always, and carry this blueprint into every year that follows. And when history records your name, it will say, here was a man who lived with purpose, who built with discipline, who served with gratitude, and who persisted until victory was certain. My friend, the hour of decision has arrived, and the September reset is no longer a theory. It is your opportunity to act. You have heard the principles, you have gathered the tools, and now the question remains, will you act or will you drift? The drifting man says, I will start tomorrow, I will try later, I will wait for the new year. And that man remains chained to mediocrity, repeating his failures year after year. But the decisive man says, I begin now, I will not wait, I will seize this moment and shape my destiny. The future bows to such men, for time itself yields to the bold. This reset is not about perfection, it is about direction. One step each day taken with faith, discipline, service, and persistence will transform your life by December. Picture yourself standing at the threshold of 2026. Will you stand as the same man, burdened with regret, or will you stand renewed, reprogrammed, and ready to command your future? The answer depends entirely on the choices you make now, in this month of September. Close your eyes and see the man you will become, strong in body, clear in mind, relentless in purpose, abundant in wealth, generous in service. Hold that picture until it burns into your subconscious and becomes your new reality. But vision without action is fantasy, and action without persistence is wasted. You must act daily, consistently, relentlessly, until the reset is no longer a plan, but a permanent transformation. This is the difference between the dreamer and the achiever, between the average and the great. Hear me clearly. September is your second new year. Treat it as sacred, treat it as urgent, treat it as the turning point of your life. Begin today with small steps. Write your purpose, speak your affirmations, guard your time, train your body, serve someone, persist without excuse. These acts, compounded over days and weeks, will carry you into 2026 with unstoppable momentum. And when the world asks how you changed so quickly, you will answer with confidence. I chose the September reset. I reprogrammed my mind. I built my life anew. That will be your testimony, your story, your proof that greatness belongs to those who decide. Do not delay, for delay is defeat in disguise. Act now, act daily, act boldly, and nothing will stop you from entering 2026 as the man you were destined to be. The reset begins now. Rise, decide, persist, and claim the future that is waiting for you. You have now gathered many principles, each a tool, each a weapon, each a light for your journey. Purpose gave you direction, faith gave you fuel, discipline gave you control, service gave you meaning, and persistence gave you power. Alone, each principle can move you forward, but together they form the unbreakable blueprint of transformation. This September reset is not about fragments, it is about fusion. Imagine a man who knows his definite purpose, who feeds his subconscious with faith daily, who disciplines his hours, who serves others with gratitude, and who never quits no matter the resistance. That man cannot be stopped, for life itself bows to such a force. Purpose without faith becomes fragile. Faith without discipline becomes wasted. Discipline without service becomes cold, and service without persistence fades with time. When all unite, you hold in your hands the master key to 2026 and beyond. The blueprint begins with decision. You must decide firmly what your September reset will stand for. Write it, declare it, and commit to it with no back door of escape. Then add faith, repeat your affirmations, visualize your victory, and believe until doubt dies in your presence. Layer discipline upon faith. Wake early, guard your hours. Build habits that carry you forward even when moods fail. Add service, find someone to help, someone to encourage, someone to lift each day. For success without service is hollow, but service multiplies success beyond measure. and bind it all with persistence. Decide that nothing, no fear, no failure, no critic will turn you back. These principles practiced together become the September Reset Blueprint, a formula of destiny. Can you see it? The man you will become by December if you obey these laws. He is stronger, clearer, wealthier, healthier, more respected, more fulfilled than the man you were in August. Do not treat these words as inspiration alone. Treat them as instruction. Read them daily, act on them hourly, live them until they become your very nature. By 2026, others will marvel at your transformation and wonder how it was done. And you will know it was done by decision, by faith, by discipline, by service, by persistence. This is the master key, the complete system, the unbreakable pattern of greatness. September is not just a month. It is your chance to reset, to rewrite, to reprogram everything. Begin now, act daily, persist always, and carry this blueprint into every year that follows. And when history records your name, it will say, here was a man who lived with purpose, who built with discipline, who served with gratitude, and who persisted until victory was certain. My friend, the hour of decision has arrived, and the September reset is no longer a theory. It is your opportunity to act. You have heard the principles, you have gathered the tools, and now the question remains, will you act or will you drift? The drifting man says, I will start tomorrow, I will try later, I will wait for the new year. And that man remains chained to mediocrity, repeating his failures year after year. But the decisive man says, I begin now, I will not wait, I will seize this moment and shape my destiny. The future bows to such men, for time itself yields to the bold. This reset is not about perfection, it is about direction. One step each day taken with faith, discipline, service, and persistence will transform your life by December. Picture yourself standing at the threshold of 2026. Will you stand as the same man, burdened with regret, or will you stand renewed, reprogrammed, and ready to command your future? The answer depends entirely on the choices you make now in this month of September. Close your eyes and see the man you will become, strong in body, clear in mind, relentless in purpose, abundant in wealth, generous in service. Hold that picture until it burns into your subconscious and becomes your new reality. But vision without action is fantasy, and action without persistence is wasted. You must act daily, consistently, relentlessly, until the reset is no longer a plan, but a permanent transformation. This is the difference between the dreamer and the achiever, between the average and the great. Hear me clearly. September is your second new year. Treat it as sacred, treat it as urgent, treat it as the turning point of your life. Begin today with small steps. Write your purpose, speak your affirmations, guard your time, train your body, serve someone, persist without excuse. These acts compounded over days and weeks will carry you into 2026 with unstoppable momentum. And when the world asks how you changed so quickly, you will answer with confidence. I chose the September reset. I reprogrammed my mind. I built my life anew. That will be your testimony, your story, your proof that greatness belongs to those who decide. Do not delay, for delay is defeat in disguise. Act now, act daily, act boldly, and nothing will stop you from entering 2026 as the man you were destined to be. The reset begins now. Rise, decide, persist, and claim the future that is waiting for you.